Wait, hold up. I want to know something. Are you chilling on a park bench right now? Are you sitting in the back of the bus, vibing out, possibly hanging from the tree, enjoying the view? Well, you're probably in the right place. This is not enough questions. If you end up liking what you hear, tell a friend or leave a review.
I'm about to start up on my 7 days, so you're already about to know. I need to get a laptop. That's definitely the start of my 7 days.
That is.
You ever heard of a one-car household? We are a one laptop household right now, and it is not great.
Do you want me to, start the thing by just saying the welcome back and everything? You want to start right now?
Oh my gosh, I totally skip that. Like, can you imagine? Oh my gosh, who are we? Where do we come from? What podcast are you on?
Oh, you see, you were in it. You really wanted to be in it. But welcome. Okay, my bad. Welcome back. You know the voice. I'm Julian. My name today is Think Tank, and if you can't already tell, it's probably going to be a silly one.
You're silly.
And as always, I have the unperceived Tyler. She has all the power with the banners, but she's not alone. I've got more powers too. And anytime you see a poll, it might be me. It might just be me. Like the poll you see in the description right here, right now. That's me. Exactly. My power.
He does it well.
Thank you. Yes, I have more outlets for me to ask more questions.
He really is like the question person. Y'all, no lie. In our little Discord, he'll be like sending me all kinds of like questions and stuff that we could do for the episodes. And I just be looking like, wow, that's amazing. Then I close the Discord right back up. I just wait until we pick up a question for the podcast. No, because I'm doing all the creative silly things. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah, all the things that if I touch would either not happen or I'd be very confused. Like I don't have social media, so I don't know what you guys would get from me. But also let us know in that description if you actually like to have more guests here, less guests. Let us know. But yeah, Tyler, you already started. How was your last? How was your 7-ish days?
My 7-ish days can be summed up by the fact that I forgot that I started my 7-ish days before this intro. And I forgot that banner was still running at the bottom. Anyways, that's just like my brain. Like I have been not doing anything. So I took like the whole week, the rest of the week off after Juneteenth. Because I get Juneteenth off at my job. And I was just like,
I forgot you had that break. I was still sending messages to you.
I was laying in the bed, not reading nothing, not doing anything. The body was tired. It was just like, go ahead and lay down. All I did was lay down. So serious. Nothing. I recommend take 3 days off your job. Lay down. Do nothing. It's amazing. And then afterward, I went down to South Carolina to go to a baby shower for one of my cousins. And so that was really cute. Got books and like diapers. And then they had like a little raffle. They had like little baby shower games. You know, they had the baby shower meatballs. It was up. And then this week, which is nice because I took that break off because I haven't taken a vacation since I started my job back in December. And I was like, honestly, it's not really like me, but I think it's because I genuinely kind of like my job. So it didn't feel bad. I just been kind of running around doing this project and that's been tiresome. So I was like, okay, it's finally time to initiate that break and get some rest since I got over a big milestone. So that was good. And this week I've been a lot more productive. Like I normally don't leave my house to go to my job, but I left the house 2 days in a row this week to go to my job and I was still productive today. That's crazy. That's really crazy. Nice. They really getting their money's worth this week. They really are. But it's all right because some weeks you're just productive. Some weeks you are not productive. I was not productive those other 2 weeks. Like I was, but was my heart in it? No, it wasn't. And that's why I had to take those vacation days. So now it's like my heart is in a little more. You know, I'm like, oh, okay, this is not too bad. It kicked in at the right time. Me and my boss were talking today. I had he gave me 50-11 things to do. I did all 50-11 of them. I'm that girl. I'm that girl. Tomorrow,
let's go.
I'm gonna do negative amount to balance out my week because I was a little too productive. Like, why am I so productive? Like, I need to stop. So tomorrow will be unproductive because
as you should.
Yeah, balance.
Any Friday, you should be very unproductive.
That's true. If you're productive on a Friday, no shout out to you. You need to stop. Rest. I'm actually not. I know y'all were like, oh, shout out to you. That was not going to happen. Stop it. Sit down. I discourage it.
I'm laughing too much.
They're not going to give us that 4-day week. You got to take that 4-day week. Close that laptop up.
You're absolutely right. Before I get into my week, I want to say, when you said baby games, somehow, some way, my mind says, like, what if you don't want a kid? What if they was throwing condoms at you?
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. Well, I mean, it was they were really baby forward because it was they had a word scramble. One of the words was rattle. The other one was crib blanket. It was kind of cute. And then they had what did the daddy say or something like that. So it was questions like, who's gonna spoil the no? They were like, who's gonna spoil the baby more? And what? This man want an anti-baby shower. That's what that is. I mean, listen, I'm with it because because I was talking with some of my friends. It was it's real cute going to other people's baby showers, but especially if you're an older sibling, I already have kids. What do I need more children for? That is crazy. I just gave my sons money the other day. What I changed their diapers. What else do you want from me? No.
Oh, that is actually so funny. Mind you, these jokes can get a lot worse. I'm holding back.
Yeah, you should, because I'm extremely silly today. We would never get through these 7 days. We can't keep going like this.
We both cannot be silly, but we both are. And
bad.
But I guess the brain works even when we're both at work too, because I was very productive really this whole week. Work-wise, I was productive this week because I was really for the past, when did I start my second job? Basically, ever since then, I have my usual train of method of how I do work was gone. Out the window, gone, vamoose, everything. Because I had to work 2 jobs, work this job, and do the podcast. So my rhythm was off. And so I thought about it, realized it. I'm like, oh, I know how to actually do work again. And so this is when it kicked in. And it couldn't have came at a better time for me because I finished 3 assignments that were basically due by the end of the week.
Right.
Granted, they have been, on my plate for a while, but things just was not allowing me to go any faster. I finished them, got a good job from my supervisor. I'm almost out of things to do. The next thing I'm going to do is hey, give me more work. I'm out. Give me more. That's how productive I have been this week. But
I definitely hit that level. I still got some work on the back burner, but
yeah, no. But that was just work wise. Outside of work and me just doing personal life things. What was I saying? Oh, so yeah, my personal life things. I decided to promote. How I said I had my family got my family got larger.
Yeah.
Well, I was hanging out with the same woman again.
Oh, nice.
And we were just at the airport watching the planes take off.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Hi, Aunt Damaris. Hi, Aunt Mimi. Hopefully they listen. But so we were watching. I was watching planes take off. Which I need to find out if this is a thing for in other airports too, because this was it was a really cool day. For 3 hours of just watching planes take off.
Check that out.
Other than that, I took a salsa lesson class and a surfing lesson class.
Okay, salsa and surfing.
Yeah, look, It's funny because I told my coworkers this and my mom this, and everyone said the same things. Like, you're really taking advantage of you being on this island. I'm like, yes, I am.
And we thought nothing less.
There it is.
You knew it was coming.
I was waiting for it. I was like, where is this going to show up? But yes, no, I'm definitely taking advantage of this island as much as possible. Can I do either of them well? No. But,
like,
I know the basics.
Was it not just one class? How you was going to do well after that?
Just one class. I'm actually supposed to get a video from, at least for the salsa. I'm supposed to get a video about how I progressed in that one day. That never came, but it's been almost a week now. I'm getting kind of concerned and the reason why the salsa was kind of interesting is because it was taking place close to my hotel, and I'm like, I don't want to be the only one paying for salsa. Like, I don't want to do that. So I went to the location, was reading a book and everything. Yes, because I can read. and
he can't read, y'all. I'm about laughing.
But
shout out to books.
Anyway, I get there early, start reading and everything. The instructor shows up. She's like, "You here for this?" Also, I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't want to be the only one." Like 10 minutes later, the next group is like, or like right before the class, is like, "You know what? You're an instructor. At least I know I'll be taught since I'm already here." So I'm like, "Here, if I can just give you cash, can I take the class?" She's like, "Yeah." But because since I didn't go through online, it might be a little weird for me. But
okay, interesting.
Yeah, but that kind of sums up my weekend. Airplane, salsa, surfing. Yeah.
Here's some jam packed. That's nice. I was relaxing. He was out doing all the adventures. Very us.
Yeah. You what can I do? You never know what. If you say, "Hey, Jewel, can you do this?" I might just say a little bit.
If you ask me if I can do it, I might possibly be in the bed. So it's just what it is sometimes.
Two sides of the same brain cell. But I guess we should get into the question.
Oh my goodness. Where's that thing at? The question.
And I'm just going to say it today. And the question is, can you be a smart worker without being a hard worker? That is the question.
There we go.
Tyler, what about you? Since I asked the question.
All right. So for me, I feel like, okay, I'm always it depends type of person, but yeah, I really do depend. I do think you can be smarter and not harder, but it depends on how you go about it. So like some things, working smarter and not harder just means taking a second, pausing and going like, can I research this? Can I plan this out? Or like do something to make this easier on myself, or like try to figure out how you can skip a step. Now, sometimes I have to work harder to then work smarter, depending on what it is. Like now I'm gonna say I don't actually have to do this. Like I probably could work smarter, like 50% more of the time than I do. But I am typically like okay, I kind of like how this sounds. I'm gonna do it. Like I have no plans, rhyme, or reason. Like I'm just like, I would like to do this now. Why do I have 2 podcasts? It's not because I research podcasts. Would I have probably made it easier on myself? Yes. But would I be able to tell people as much stuff as I tell them now? Because there's people who, they're researching and it's cool and it helps them when people like me just kind of like knuckleheaded through. So, like, I would say some people work harder so others can work smarter. I think sometimes I'm one of them people. So,
Nah, for me, I think work smarter without working harder, because I think you need to make the mistakes to know like, oh, I can do this easier, and you wouldn't know how to do that unless you're like, oh, I can just do it this way. Granted, you can easily, I'm not gonna say bypass that step, but you can definitely lean on someone else who's already done the work,
right?
To say and listen to them. I'm as a mentor is like, hey, I've been here, I've done this. It took me what X amount of time, X amount of money. You should do it like this, and it will save you some time. But like how you said, I know I'm a work harder type person through and through.
Yeah.
Through and through. That's truly just me. I'll try 50,000 times. Hear what you say, have it in the back of my mind and still try. I'm like, all right. And then one day I'll just, because I'm hard headed. I'm definitely hard headed.
Oh my goodness. I'm like cringing over here. Like all my friends are hard headed, man. I be fighting every day. Like, hey, there are better ways to do this. And they'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna do it the wrong way. I'm like, all right, it's cool. And then they just like, well, it's a couple months later. I'm exactly where you said I was gonna be. I'm just like, hi. It's cool. I knew he was gonna be back here again. You know how it goes. So yes, I'm also very much an I told you so friend. I really be trying so hard not to be that girl, but there are so many things that I told you so in people. And I just be sitting there like, it's a list. It's an ever-growing list. Sometimes I really do. It depends on what it is. If I want to work harder at it, then smarter at it too. Like certain things, once you tell me that it's gonna be like that, no, I'm not doing it. I'm going the smarter route. Like anything bug related or whatever. What's the smartest, less gross way that I can do this? I'm working smarter, not harder. I don't want to see it for long. I would like to get gone as soon as possible. Certain things I think like, nah, I think we just need to kind of like smarter it. Leave it alone. Don't do it.
Yeah, nope. Here I am thinking, I'm like, I'm so much of a work harder type person. I'm like, I don't even know how to work smarter. The concept is like, how do I do this?
Lord.
I literally can't think of an example of anything. It's like, yeah, you can do this versus that. Nothing is coming to my mind.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm literally like, okay. No, where I definitely get hard, like I'm kind of hard headed, but like I'll also take tips. It's kind of weird. Like cooking is one of those things where I do want to work smarter, but because nobody really taught me how to cook growing up, it's like I would rather do work the dumb way. So I can know what to avoid. But then once I've been doing it long enough and someone's like, hey, you could like not do this, right? And I'm just like, nah, but I've been doing it. And then I'm like, you know what? Let's take a second. Just show me the smarter way real quick.
No,
I've been doing the worst way for a while now. Maybe it's time to hang it up, do the smarter way.
And you just gave me an example of why, because I'm the same exact way, because I didn't know how to cook growing up. So it is a skill that developed later in my life. And so my friends gave me, I think it's called like an Instapot. And it was like, you do know you can put the food in there, leave for work, come back and have a meal ready. The response is, that's a tool. Use the tool that we gave you. But I'm like, I want to learn how to cook. But made me think of something. It's not that I have the luxury of time. It's just I somehow find the time to work harder. Because if I did not have the time, I will definitely find a way to expedite the thing that I am doing. I will say that.
That's true. Time. I think time is also a big thing. Like if you have the time to work harder, personally, I do think you should. It's kind of funny because I think that's almost kind of how like college works. They want you to work the harder way, and then when you go out into like the real world, it's like, okay, now we're working smarter. You don't need to do all this crap. Like we have systems for this, and it's like, okay, but like, why didn't they teach me the smarter way first? But it's so you have a good foundation. You know what I mean?
The basics.
I do think it's good, but I also think you can work smarter and still have good basics. Like, I don't think that necessarily means that you skip the basics. I honestly think it might be smarter maybe to work on the basics, but not that like all the time. Like you don't have to be grinding through the basics the whole time. I don't think smarter necessarily means like skip the fundamental steps. I think it's more like skip the unfundamental steps. Like, okay, if you know that, like, if you're trying to figure out, like, okay, we work smarter already, even using like cooking as like an example, you can look up temperatures at which you need to cook things. You don't have to guess at what temperature you need to cook something and look at it and go, wow, why isn't this cooking? Like, what's happening? Google it. Someone else has already sat in front of an oven and done this for you. There's no reason to have your chicken cooking on 250 and wondering why it's taking you 3-4 hours for that chicken to cook. Because you should have put it at 400. Like, there are certain things that I think we take for granted as smarter. And we think it's harder, but someone's done the work.
And see, like I said, I'm hard-headed.
Are you telling me you don't look up temperatures? Julian, that's great.
I promise you I'm a trial by error type of cook.
Julian, no!
Everything at 350. and I let it cook. I don't use a cookbook. No.
Oh my God. No, y'all, I'm flabbergasted. I'm really learning this in real time. Not you cook everything at 350.
Yeah, no. And see, I'm like, either it's going to slightly poison me or I'm going to build immunity. Like that's the cartoonish mindset that I have going on right now. Look, I made it this far. Tyler is speechless.
I'm literally y'all, I'm so flabbergasted. I did not know this man was not looking up temperatures. That is correct. Now hold on a second. Now hold on a second. Like, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna say, I think growing up, that's just what I saw. So I'm a product of my environment.
I'm literally so hurt learning this information, y'all. I'm flabbergasted. I don't even I forgot that we're on a podcast. I don't even know what to say to you anymore. Honestly, I'm like, should I block him for a day? Why did he tell me that?
But but like I said, you can eat it. You shouldn't complain about it. We're good.
Wow. Well, you know what? I hope that gives somebody, a moment to really sit there and go, you know what? At least I look up temperatures when I be acting crazy on these recipes. Because I'm like, I will at least now. When I first started cooking, I definitely was not doing like that much. I used like a bunch of Tasty app recipes and I didn't know what I was doing with anything. So I was just like, I got to use a recipe. I don't even know how to make half this crap. And now that I know how to make some things, I won't even use Tasty app anymore. I'll basically like Google a recipe on the internet just to know like what temperatures they need to be on. But as in terms of like seasonings and what flavors I want to use, what things I want to cook, instead of like finding full-fledged recipes, I just pick up something that I want to make. I look up some sort of like base level recipe and then I just go off of that. And then sometimes I'll just ignore it because sometimes I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like it did some of these recipes online don't make any sense, y'all. Like I'm so serious. That's why sometimes I'll cross-reference everything. Like I'll use Google, then Tasty app, then maybe I might pull out like I have 3 cookbooks. So I'm like, maybe if I see a cookbook recipe, I might pull it out. But honestly, that's like that's like either last case scenario or I'm only using the cookbook and I'm not using anything else. So I'm just like, forget it. I'm in the hands of the cookbook.
See, you're a higher level set than me. I have not even made it. Well, no, I can't. See, my recipe making skills comes from HelloFresh. That is they gave me all the ingredients. So that's when I'm like, all right, cool. And then I just remember what I did, and then I go from there.
I got bamboozled by HelloFresh. Maybe we're living different lives over here. But don't you think it's working smarter and not harder to even use something like HelloFresh?
Wait a minute.
Oh, look. I blew his mind.
Wait a minute. You have a valid point. You have a valid point.
Come on, people.
You got a valid point.
If you're doing a meal kit service, someone did it for you. You have a recipe. They gave you gave you all tools and a recipe, or at least they gave you all the tools. Like,
all right,
that in itself is smart.
You got me there. I think
we all work smart. Yeah, in some ways.
In some ways, yes. But what is an example of someone that like you witnessed of someone working harder or working smarter? Like, what can you think of an example off the top of your head? Because I know mine.
I'm trying to think. I guess for me, it's working smarter and not harder. Wait, what? Anyways, I'm just gonna give an example of both. Why not? Don't overthink it. See, look at that. I'm already smart. Anyways, probably something like, you know what? We were looking up clothes for cosplaying at DreamCon, and I will do one the sponsorship from DreamCon, and what was it? So I was like looking up all these cosplays online, and I was like really trying to figure this out. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get like this costume and this costume. I'm gonna get 3 costumes. I'm gonna get my hair done like this, blah blah blah. And then, you know, as time went on and as money dwindled, I was like, you know what? We don't have to do all that. We really don't. I almost didn't do a cosplay, but then CJ was like, just buy one off of Amazon. Now, mind you, I know people, Amazon is evil. But I ordered a lot of things from Amazon. Actually, I've ordered a lot less. But the cosplay was pretty good. CJ's cosplay came in today. It fit him like super well. I got it from the exact same store, and it came in like the next day. Like I can't remember. We ordered them like a day ago, maybe like 2 days ago. He got his today. I'm getting mine on Sunday, and his fit like great. It was like 4 pieces. It was like $30. Now, mind you, the next time I do this, I will be buying, you know, more ethically, because now I understand what these prices are, what things look like. But today's smarter story was getting it from Amazon and only doing one because I knew what kind of money I was working with.
Yeah, I think we're going to be complete opposites today because the example that I have is an example of someone who works harder. I know their story and how I'm really not trying to put any gender to this that way.
Yeah.
But they tell me their story and how they do, you know, the work that we do, but that's not it. That they might start at, I don't know, let's say like 5 o'clock, and they don't work until, and they don't stop working. They don't allegedly stop working until the end of the day, like the, you know, regular end of day, but they might still keep working until 7 o'clock. So I think that's, and actually like admire that about them.
Honestly, doing more than one job is honestly though, but I think it's like you could almost spit anything on his head low key, no matter how you think about it. Cause like having 2 jobs now, a lot of people say that it makes sense, and they would say that you're working smarter because you're bringing more income in, since it's just more expensive to live. Like some people think like base level, you should have 2 jobs. So,
which is
like
crazy.
Yeah, I personally don't. I personally think that's working harder and not smarter. I think the smarter thing in my mind is having one, like not one's, yeah, but basically, yeah, like one job that literally can pay everything, so you don't have to be like splitting your time everywhere. Now, if you just like having more than one thing going on, like, you know, we can't talk. I got 2 jobs with my doggone self and these 2 podcasts. I am not a person who, you know, is unfamiliar with this. I mean, even through graduate school, like I'll be in school and doing a job at the same time. I normally just do stuff like that though. But normally I try to make sure that the main thing is not taking up so much of my time that this, like, I can't put anything towards the side job. You know what I mean? Like it, as long as they both have good balance. And then, if I feel like, hey, I'm about to take 2 days off of both jobs and nobody gives me any complaints, then yeah, like I'm good. I'm cool. Like, I just think doing full throttle 2 things, like you basically working 2 way demanding jobs. Yeah, you're definitely working harder. And I would argue, depending on how you have it set up and how balanced your life feels, is whether it's smarter or not.
Very, very true. Because I was definitely talking to someone about this not too long ago, well, a while back ago, about working 2 jobs, and I'm pretty sure some people do it once out of necessity.
Yeah.
But there's some who's like, I like the rise and grind lifestyle, and I don't like, do you, like, as long as you're not affecting my pockets, I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't really affect me at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I will say with that though is like the saying, Rome wasn't built in the day. Like, you have to put in the work, whether that's smarter or harder, to get to what your end goal and everything. But you should also take a break too, because I added on to this is like, yes, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it won't fall overnight either.
That's true, because I do think, honestly, even when I think about it more as we're talking, I think there really are times in your life too where it makes sense to be the harder worker, not the smarter worker, or the smarter worker, not the harder worker. It just really depends on like where you're at in life. Like, I would never beat anybody up for where they're at in life, but I will always tell people, okay, sometimes you don't have to stay in that work harder situation. Like, like, okay, you've already reached the goal that you needed to reach for that work harder situation. Keep whatever that is to the side, or it's gonna start draining you out. I think the smarter part kicks in when you realize, okay, now I don't have to work harder anymore. I can work smarter. I've done what I needed to do. And now it's time to switch gears into like chill mode.
Yeah, I'll also tack on to that. Working smarter also knows when you can't do any more work. Like, if something is out your hands, or for example, like how I was saying, things that I've been working on for work took me months. I literally couldn't do anything because I needed to wait on other people, and I'm like, I can't force them to do it, and it would not be wise for me to take up their job, figure out what they know, just for me to do it. Like, that would not have been productive at all. Yeah. So I'm like, well, I did as much as I can. I'm waiting on other people, and until they come with me with what they have, I will be doing something else.
Honestly, agreed, fully agreed. Because I was even having that. I had that more so at my last job, not this job, where at some point I was really like doing all this work and all this other stuff, and I was trying to work harder, but I was never really working smarter because I don't know how to describe it. Like, the main job that I was doing was already kind of like draining me, and the second part that I was doing, it was funny because I had one main job, but I was technically trying to do 2 jobs within that one job. And that was just working harder and not smarter, because if that is the environment that's already draining you, there's no reason to do double work in a space that's already like taking so much out of you. You need to leave that to the side, do something else. That's the smarter choice at the end of the day. Because like working harder, there's nothing worse than working harder but you're working harder at something that is telling you like, hey, you need to stop. Like working harder and not smarter, this is where the real issue comes in. Because sometimes things are getting delayed and you got to wait and all this other stuff because you're supposed to be. You're only working harder and not smarter when you're doing stuff like that.
With all this being said, my question is, does AI affect if you work harder or smarter? Like, does that play a factor?
I think AI actually does help. Like, I was on more of the scarier side of it for a second there, because like I was nervous okay, for like instance, when Marvel did that one intro and it was like all AI done, I think it was for
I know
what was it called? Secret
Secret
Invasion?
Invasion.
Yeah.
Secret Invasion.
And my like artist friends were like, what the heck is this? Like, it's terrible. Also, you're taking away jobs of creatives, and like they probably could have done 10 times better on this. That, in my opinion, was thinking you work smarter and really just making a fool of yourself. Like, there's a difference between working smarter and cutting corners. Like, let's be serious. And so I think in that sense, no. But in the sense of like, I use like Grammarly, or a lot of people use Chat GPT in like the correct way, which is basically just to get quick templates or something like that. Like, if you're not good at like writing cover letters, just be like, hey, write me a template cover letter. And then all you got to do is add your own pizzazz into it. And like all the information in there is yours. It's just formatted well and in a way where like it can be presented better and better received, you know? So I think as a lot of things, AI can be used as a tool to work smarter, but it shouldn't be used to like make shortcuts, like cut corners where it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, because I was actually going to say, before you even said anything, I was thinking, no, it shouldn't be, because I think without the human aspect of it, it's just you being lazy. Yeah. But you made a valid point about is like using Chappy. All right, but yeah, I'm just gonna
Chat GPT.
Chat G Chat GT
Chat G. Stop it. GPT.
GPT. I'm like I said, I don't know why I struggle with those 3 string of letters all at once, but I do. But I was saying using that AI service or Grammarly is actually very helpful, because my sister even pointed out to me that AI is really all around us. Like when you're texting someone and it auto corrects and everything.
Yeah.
And so it definitely is helpful. But I guess with like any tool, it's how you use it. Because something I heard is like how lawyers would just use an AI program. I'm going to try my hardest not to say it. Use the AI program to where they would make up a case, like, and the system literally just made up a case, like it didn't exist whatsoever. And I'm like, yeah, that's not you working smarter or harder. That's just you taking a shortcut, not double checking the work whatsoever, and claiming it as your own.
Which is crazy, because I'm not gonna lie, I recently saw a template made by Chat GPT, and it was like the way some of that stuff is worded, you can tell that a person did not make that. Like, it's not good. So I was just like, and people just copy and paste this. Like, I don't know, because even when you're reading it out, you're just like, nobody talks like this. Like, this is dang near like a legal document almost, the way certain things are written out. I don't know. I'm just like, that's weird. I wouldn't do it for anything that you need to sound like yourself on.
Like I said, the human aspect of it for sure. And for some reason, this has brought me back to my mind, even for like cheaters in like school and everything. Working smarter method of life in school. Let's say I was saying you were shaking your head in disappointment, but I was also saying that that even cheaters in school was like, oh, one person gets the answers and one person copies them. They still go back and check. Well, not check, but make sure it sounds like them or is not like it's legit plagiarism. They do some effort into. At least you should put in some effort to make it look like your own, at least.
Some people do not, but you should do that. I do think that is like a good analogy though, because sometimes, some of those classes were not made for you to do it alone. And that's okay. Teamwork did make the dream work in some classes. But, and also personally, I've never been like a very good like school cheater anyway. Like I'd be like, that sounds too much like the other person. Like it would just give me anxiety. I'm like, I was like, I will never get caught for no plagiarism. I'm never gonna copy nothing that crazy. Like I can't get caught doing anything like that. Like I was getting antsy. And most times people were asking me for stuff anyway, because like I was one of those people who didn't really have to study. Like I could pretty much just show up, and as long as a teacher could like teach stuff in a way I could understand it, like I'd probably be good. Like I don't really need a whole lot of study time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like
You're blessed.
I
I'm
feel
letting you know
like,
that right now.
huh?
Oh, I was saying you're blessed, letting you know that right now. But continue.
Thank you. But yeah, I'm just not good at that. So like Chat GPT, you almost had me caught up. It also wouldn't have worked. Like I'm kind of glad I got out of school before they became like way big, because I probably would have been like stressed out of my mind, especially now, like looking on Twitter and seeing like, oh, there's like AI sensing tools and things like that, where and some of that stuff's not even that good, where they'll think that someone did something fully out of AI, and it'll be like they did the whole thing, so they're not really sure how they like caught them plagiarizing or whatever. But those plagiarizing tools have been around for like a minute now. Like there's been a couple of different things where you can like, oh, put this in and search the internet. So it's kind of almost like that in a sense to me, where it's like we're just using another tool to be like, hey, is this a robot? Like, and we already done that thing on multiple websites now where we click like, hey, I'm a human, or do the little puzzles and stuff. So I'm like, there's always gonna be countermeasures for anything that's deemed a shortcut. I don't even.
True.
I don't know. I don't know.
I will say with those, like, are you? I'm not a robot things. I almost fail them sometimes. It's actually kind of strange how I almost don't pass. All right, cool. I'm not alone.
No, especially the ones where like they'll ask you like the letters and put the letters and numbers and like different like when the letters are, I don't know how to describe it. You know what I mean? Like they're wiggly,
like camouflage.
Yeah, and they're different like cases. Like it'll be lowercase, like uppercase. I'm like, all right. They're about to think that I'm a robot like 3 times in a row, because
sometimes they get me.
Terrible.
Yes, but I will also say I find it kind of strange that the American school system is structured to where it's like you have to take the harder way to do things like, yes, they promote studying with a group, but like classic example, you can't use a calculator on whatever on whatever math test, right? It's like, and the excuse is you won't have a calculator when you grow up. I'm like, but but you'll be able to look up said answer. That is literally the whole point of the adult life, is to find the fastest way to get the answer.
I feel like schools, unlike AI, never really are with the times that we're in. Like someone will always be teaching something that like nobody's doing outside of school anymore. Just because like I think it's also like the age gaps of like teachers to students, and then not understanding like what industries these kids might go into. And it's just like, if you don't know, you're kind of just making like a generalized statement. Like, I can't tell. I'll, maybe if we have any teacher listeners, like tell it, like, are these tactics just to get us to focus? Like, I feel that.
Like, I understand.
We're
like
hard-headed.
Like I understand knowing the fundamentals and everything, but I had this thought a while back ago. It's like you could technically teach, let's just say, like a 5th grader calculus if they understood the basics real fast. Like,
yeah,
you can, but that's a super tangent. But I have one more question before we end this, right? What, with all this working harder, working smarter topic, where do you find, what environment do you find you work best in? That's the question.
What? Okay, so actually, when we were in college, I was terrible at studying in a group, because I would always get distracted.
That's crazy because you invited me to our group, to the major friend group.
And I don't know if you ever remember me doing any work, but Lord, if I got anything done, it was not because I was hanging around with them.
honestly, every time I was in that group, it was very hard to do work. There's seldom times where we've actually all 20 of us decided to do work at the same time. Yeah, so
that would have been surprising. A literal shock. So honestly, even after that, like later in school, I still wasn't very good. Like I would try to do study groups and stuff, but I was very much in the house. So I would say that I work a lot better when I have like my own space and like I can just kind of do me. I like coming together, like give me a task to do and I can do it all by myself. And then we'll all come together and like compare notes, talk about our task and like, oh, okay, I did this one. Did you do this one? How did you do that one? Like I could do it after I've done said thing, but I can't do that thought process and that thinking with another group of people, or it has to be like a very specific group of people. Or like I'm not gonna understand what they're saying. We're probably just gonna butt hit. I'm gonna be like, okay, so I left that knowing nothing, because that would happen to me a lot of times too in study groups. Like they would be like, oh yeah, we all understand this because of XYZ, and I'm like, my brain does not think like that. And actually I had a better understanding of this before I came here talking to y'all about this. So that's ruined my brain. And now, like, honestly, it kind of has at some points done more damage than good. Me being in a group and them being like, yeah, we get it because of this, that, and the third. And I'm like, that's not why I understand that. That's not the thing that may help it click for me. So now I'm like confused because we're running off of it. Like the fundamental understanding that we have comes from like different things that we picked up. And so for me, it's like once I get all the other brain chatter, it's a wrap.
No, that makes a lot of sense because I promise you the way I think of things. I tell my sister this all the time. Is like, yeah, no one's going to break into whatever you do because the thought process, she just doesn't get it.
It's just silly.
Yeah, but for me, I will say the way I do the best work by far is if I'm outside. Put me outside, have some sun on me, and I can do really anything. Like I can sit, because usually I'm not able to sit down in one place for long. But if you put me outside, that kind of counteracts whatever going on in my brain. It's like, yeah, you need to go, you need to move somewhere. I'm like, I'm already outside. I can't go anywhere. But what the problem with me doing my actual job and me doing the podcast is the fact that it's all off of Wi-Fi. And I'm like, I can't just use my hotspot for 8 hours out the day to do something. Like I just can't do that. So I have to like sit down. And also I don't like being in a room. I don't like sitting on a laptop.
No, we are entirely different on that.
Yeah, nah. Put me outside. So I really want a what's it called? Like a Wi-Fi. Basically, if I can get my job to pay for a hotspot for me, that would be the best thing. But anything, and that's the other problem, is because even though I have to go, some things I have to do, some things I choose to do, and I'm limited to the range of my Wi-Fi signal, it forces me to be in a certain location.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even think about that because I don't like doing work. Once I step outside of my house, there's no work being done. Like, like if I'm not in a space of wherever that is supposed to be at, especially outside, I'm done. Like if I'm on the beach doing some work, something is very wrong. Like I sit at the park and go outside and go to the beach. Like I'd be outside for fun. And then I'd be inside for like sleep, work, also fun. As honestly, I do everything indoors. I love indoors. I'm not gonna hold you indoors. But I will say I work best like in the morning, like as soon as I wake up, maybe like an hour after I wake up, and then like quiet, like just me, a laptop, we're done. And then honestly, perfect time would be like after like 12 or 1 p.m., don't ask me anything. Don't talk to me. I'm outside. Like if I could start my day at 8, end it at 12, and then just have the rest of it to be outside, I'm good.
I don't know what time I work best because I noon, like that 11 to 2 o'clock when the sun's at its brightest. That is probably when I do my best work. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's cool. But I do like being by a window though. I will say if I'm indoors, I gotta be next to a window. I like sun, but not direct sun. I'm like, like if I'm hitting direct sun, I'm not focused. I'm actually quite silly. So I'm like, I don't understand how direct sun makes your brain work. That is like crazy to me.
I couldn't tell you, but I feel the sunlight and it's just like, oh, this is nice and warm. You can do whatever.
I'm like, this is nice and warm. Don't think. Just exist. That's me. No. Then I hit the AC. I'm like, ooh, I'm wrapped up. All right, time to work.
Ooh, putting the AC on will put me to sleep. Or either make me cold and really want me to get me to leave, or will put me to sleep. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yes, but
that is funny.
I think that's it. So, all
right.
But Tyler, don't you dare leave. You know we have the thing.
I was going. Whoa. I was just saying the question is over. Now it's time for our next segment. See
this transition.
You see,
you got me. You got me. What is this next segment?
The thing.
There it is. I don't know how we made it. Oh, that's why we just barely got into 8. That is where the silliness is. I have the thing today.
The brain cells take it away.
But I have the thing, and it is. This is actually something I heard pretty recently, right?
Oh, nice.
Before I do my thing, remember to pay attention to this episode or all these episodes. Something's coming up. That is something that I needed to remember to tell you guys. But the thing is from the country singer Brittany Spencer. And it is you might as well fail at something that you actually really like as opposed to succeed at something you don't want to do.
That's raw. I like that.
That is my thing for this episode. Do you have any final words before I do the outro?
Well, you guys, look up temperatures of how to cook. Definitely sitting in a portion of my brain forever. Yeah. I feel like I almost had something smarter to say, but now I don't. So that's it.
Don't forget to ask yourself, ask others, and never stop asking questions. See you.
Bye.
Wow, you're still here. Well, if you enjoyed the episode, there are a few different ways to support our podcast. Following us on Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, or becoming a supporter of our Patreon for $2 or $5 a month, where you'll have access to never-before-released visual episodes, funny bloopers, polls, or you can pose a question. The links can be found in the description wherever you listen. The simplest way to support us is by leaving a review about how great or bad we are, or telling a friend about our show. Anyways, thanks for listening.